And we are
Yeah.
hello. I didn't expect you will dancing.
Why not have a different start? Hello, everyone.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Balkan Show. How are you,
Sijeni,
Dushan?
pešendjete. Wait, I need to finish for all of our guests. Sijeni, pešendjete, zdravite, bună ziua, zdravo, and onat. How would you say it in Turkey?
Merhaba.
Merhaba, everyone.
Or
We
salam.
are, or for some people, salam, and also for some people in the Balkans, depending of their religion background. Welcome, people, once again to another lovely episode. Today, our guest is really unique. We love him quite a lot based on his content on YouTube. His name is Janos. His YouTube channel is called Living Ironically in Europe. Please check it out. It's really amazing. It kind of goes hand in hand with what we're doing. It's really informative and entertaining at the same time. And he himself is a unique person. So stay tuned and see who he is, where does he come from, what he's currently doing. Yeah.
Yeah, his channel is really fun,
Mm.
and they are living ironically in Europe. And yeah, in this episode we're talking about like his journey, his content, how he is surviving on Balkan wars on every videos,
Mm.
and his creative process, future plans. Yeah, there's a lot of jokes and laughter. So watch and enjoy.
Yep.
Also, please subscribe, comment. Also, check the link about him on the description of the video. Also, his channel, and yeah, enjoy.
As I said, enjoy and let's cut all the things and let's dive into the episode. Roll
Yeah,
it.
roll it.
And we are back, folks.
Hello.
And today, as you can see, our latest guest is Janos. We are big
Hello.
fans. Hello, Janos. We are really pleased to have you today here with us.
Thank you. Same here.
We were chasing this episode with you for quite a while. Not that you were not responsive, but it was hard
Yeah.
to organize and everything. And we're finally here. And personally, Onet and I are really big fans of your channel and what you do. And based in your topics, more or less, are concerning our show, or like are some to say go hand in hand one with another. So it was a win-win to have you on our show.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Likewise. Uh, Before we start, we tend to have some general questions that are not concerning with your main topic and why we're here today. So usually Onat is the one that's opening up. So Onat, if you may.
Okay, on this part of the show, I mostly ask about something ice-breaking question. So my question is, what was your first memory as a child?
Phew. um, well, the first thing I remember at all was basically like eating cake. I think I was like
Perfect.
2 years old or something, maybe even younger, and I was like in my living room in America, and my mom was, watching TV with me, and she was giving me birthday cake, just this chocolate cake, and she was saying, "Oh, look, teeth marks," and I thought she was talking about like some teeth or something in the cake. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really nice memory. We didn't have this one on the show by now.
The mostly about the toys.
Oh
Toys,
yeah.
yeah. First
Yeah.
time about the food. Yeah, that's nice. we can we can relate to this one. From my side, again, it's related to the childhood. So when you were little, what did you want to be when you grow up?
I used to like say I wanted to be an adventure. Yeah, basically adventure. So yeah, and also a zookeeper, but mostly adventure. So Yeah, and I guess I kind of became that.
Yeah, like adventure, like doing some, I don't know, adrenaline sports or like
No, no,
traveling
no.
or
Like adventure explorer, I
Indiana
basically,
Jones.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
sort of like that.
Ah.
I was trying to remember the name of the.
Ah, yeah. There was like a fifth film right now. Everything is
Oh,
CGI,
really?
but nevertheless, he's still there. Yeah, insane. Um, so, for our audience to know a bit more about you, we already know bits and pieces here and there, but could you tell us your Balkan backstory, so to say? Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of, I don't know, kind of difficult to get to because I've been sort of in between countries most of my childhood.
Mm,
So basically, I was born in the U.S. Because my parents they weren't really refugees, but they were basically immigrants because of the Yugoslav wars, as
mm,
you know. So
Mhm.
when the thing was going on in the 90s, they basically went all around Europe, Germany, and whatnot, Japan even, and
mm,
ended up in America because they had some family over there, whatnot. And they moved there, started their lives, had me. And after things kind of subsided in Yugoslavia, well, I guess now like ex Yugoslavia, then we moved to Serbia back, I think it was in 2004 or something like that.
mm,
And from then on, I was basically living in Serbia in several places, from central Serbia to Vojvodina up until 2013, when the economic crisis was, I would say, at its peak, because Serbia in particularly got quite hit.
mm,
So like there was something like 20% unemployment or something at the point. And then my mom and I basically moved back to the US where I stayed for up until 2018. And as soon as I graduated, I basically went back to Serbia. So yeah.
You graduated there, your high school, or?
Yeah, yeah, high school. So I did basically elementary school and half of middle school in Serbia, and then finished middle school and high school in America.
Okay,
Mhm.
interesting. So basically, since you're born in America, you have the right in the future more than Arnold Schwarzenegger to become a president.
Yeah, basically. But
That's
I do have to live there for a while, but I don't fill out those requirements. So
yeah. He can live there. He's been living there for like 50, 60 years already, and
yeah,
still cannot be a president. Yeah, too bad. Yeah, at
yeah. I
least
mean that's
Obama got the certificate from not from Kenya, but from Hawaii. Spoiler alert: we're not into conspiracies, but
of course,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
of course not, of course not. Um, so great. There's a question right now that pops up in my mind, and also for our audience, where are you right now? Are you still in Serbia or where?
No, I moved out of Serbia last year to Romania. So right now I'm living in Cluj-Napoca,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically the biggest city in Transylvania.
Oh, okay. So basically, you went to a powerhouse.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, technically, Cluj is like this Silicon Valley of the East, basically
Mm-hmm.
huge IT hub. I mean, half the city works in IT and half are students. So
That
that's
want to
sort
be
of,
IT.
yeah, yeah. Basically, a shit ton of students here study to go IT. There's a huge university, Babeș Bolyai, which particularly specializes in IT. So Cluj just like keeps pumping out a bunch of future programmers and web developers.
Mm.
Mhm.
And the thing about Cluj-Napoca, it's like mostly Hungarian or like half-half. How is it?
No, no. So with Cluj, the thing is, up until like the I think mid 20th century, it used to be majority Hungarian.
Mm-hmm.
But because of communism and Ceausescu, a lot of the Hungarians were basically deported, and a lot, basically not into Hungary, but into different parts of Romania. And a lot of people from the rural parts of Romania, basically at the time Romanian peasants,
Mm.
were forcibly moved into Cluj to basically improve Romania's demographic picture. So, Romania would be Romanian and not Hungarian, especially with the majority of cities. So,
Mm.
right now, like back in the 20th century, up until the mid, Cluj was I think like 56% Hungarian. Now it's at around 15% at max.
Oh.
But that's still debatable. It's probably lower. So
Mm. And what is the Hungarian name for Cluj-Napoca?
Kolozsvár.
It's not even similar.
Well, it's Cluj. So Cluj-Napoca, the end of Napoca was added by Ceausescu essentially because that used to be the name of like the Dacian settlement here. So because
Oh.
Cluj was, I guess, founded by Saxons. Yeah, I think it was Saxons,
Hmm.
and then Hungarians were living there, so they wanted to bring back this like nationalism and this tie to Dacia, so they called it Cluj-Napoca, even though everyone just calls it Cluj.
Uh-huh. It's weird. Usually people just change the name, not like put on top of the previous one.
Yeah, I mean the entire thing is like the whole name, like the ad of the name was, just so unnecessary, and no one really uses it. It
Mm.
was just kind of trying to subvert the name completely, but no one even says Napoca at all.
Interesting. About Cluj, one more thing. So we mentioned about Hungarians there and your name. Could you tell our audience about your name? So, are you Hungarian or is it too much to ask?
So yeah, I'm basically half and half, I would say. So I come from Vojvodina, which is Serbia's most northernmost province that used to be a part of the Austro-Hungarian kingdom and the Kingdom of Hungary. So there is quite a strong Hungarian minority over there, and especially about Vojvodina, a lot of the people there are mixed. So
Mm.
basically, there's rarely anyone who doesn't have at least someone in their family who is of a different ethnicity and who was married. So yeah,
Mm.
that's the story. That
Oh, and you're fluent both in Serbian and Hungarian?
no, just in Serbian. Regarding Hungarian, I'm still studying, but I'm somewhere like around the B2 level ish.
Mm.
So yeah.
That's good. I mean, lots of people that are mixed marriages. Yeah, I don't know. At some point, they just switch completely one side, and the other side they don't learn. Especially mixed marriages with Serbian and Hungarian. So,
Mhm.
but you still wanted to learn is a big thing. And yeah, I'm guessing because lots of people in North Vojvodina, in Vojvodina especially, I don't know for our audience if they know about Hungarian passport, how you can get it. Before it was so easy, you can need only to prove that your ancestors lived on the area of ex-Hungarian part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire before 1922, before the Trianon Treaty. And if that was so, you only need the A1 in Hungarian, which is you just learned by heart 20 sentences or something.
Yeah.
And at some point they raised the bar, and now you need, I guess, B2, right, or something like that.
Now officially it's B1. So basically, what was the issue? A lot of people were, like you said, exploiting the system.
Mm,
They would just come and say "Yona pot" and you're good to go.
mm,
Uh, and the thing is, they would use that passport to basically go and work in Germany or other EU
mm,
countries,
yeah,
which was against the purpose of it.
mm,
So yeah, I mean, one of the main things about the whole Hungarian citizenship thing was it was a way to boost Hungary's population first and foremost, and
mm,
also strengthen the ties of the diaspora outside, blah blah blah. But mainly, um, those passports and citizenship was sort of given to incentivize people to move back to Hungary to boost the population.
mm. I see. And I guess it became really popular after 2004, after the Hungary became part of EU.
Yeah. So the thing about that law is it's a bit interesting because originally it didn't constitute the size of the ex-kingdom of Hungary, so it was just modern day Hungary.
Okay.
But then it got kind of expanded on, and
Mm,
after that expansion there was a huge wave of people going for those passports. I think that was around like 2011, 2013, because I remember then it was like a huge craze in Vojvodina, especially in my town, where everyone
mm,
was trying to learn the basics and basically get that passport. So
mm. I mean, if you expand on the Hungarian part of Austro-Hungarian Empire, it comprises Vojvodina, half of Croatia,
yeah.
Slovakia, the whole Slovakia, I don't know,
Mhm.
big part of Romania. So you get like millions of people that can eligible to apply.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
even parts of Ukraine as well.
parts of Ukraine,
So
yeah.
Yeah, so now what happened is because those terms of getting the passport were quite loose,
Mm.
the US actually sanctioned Hungary in a way. So in the EU, if you want to go to the US, you basically can go visa free. Visa free. You have to do like the ESTA form, which is like just fill out some form online and then you're good to go. And you can basically be in the US for a total of 2 years, 3 months stay out of that. Then you got to go back. Typical stuff.
Hmm.
But what happened was because these citizenships were given so freely and loosely, now the U.S. changed the policy, and Hungarian citizens can only be allowed like up to a year or so, so
Mm.
half of what like most other EU citizens can do.
Because of the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean I know quite a lot of people who did abuse the system, and I mean there's this whole community online on internet forums how to basically cheat the system to get the Hungarian passport.
Mm, I know, I know. I heard one story, anecdote. I don't know if it's true or not. When
Mhm.
the system was still like really loose and not so strict, having like B1 level and so on. I think it was in Subotica, so northern city
Mhm.
of Vojvodina of Serbia, and there were like 20 or 30 people receiving passports. There was like a ceremony, and Hungarian minister of diaspora or some, I don't know which minister was there, and he was taking the passports, giving them officially, taking photos, blah blah blah. And he was asking them in Hungarian, I don't know, how are you? And they were responding, today is really sunny. Like, what? Yeah, I'm 15 years old. What? And then they just knew 20 phrases or so and just using them quite loosely, whatever they. And I was like, what's wrong with those guys? Are they all, yeah, mentally impaired? Not to say
Mhm.
retarded, but I did. And then at that point they're like, no, please make this more strict and such. It's like an anecdote. I don't know if it's true or not, but it makes sense.
No, no, no. So basically, another policy regarding the citizenship is if you got it via ancestry, whatnot, and that way, the Hungarian government has the right to take away your
Yeah.
citizenship at any point if they find that you do not know the Hungarian language well enough.
Mm.
And then you have to do the whole process all over again. So there's also a lot of cases of those people who basically learn those phrases and think, oh, nothing of it. But if they get stopped at like the Hungarian border or go to the consulate
Mm.
and you don't speak Hungarian, then you will get your citizenship revoked. Like they have the right to do so completely.
Mm.
So
I know what they do now. They find a new way to bridge over, like to bypass the system. When they travel through Hungary, they use their Serbian passports.
mm, yeah, I mean, I guess you can do that technically.
Yeah, they do that. It's like they're afraid of taking their passports away, of Hungarian passports, and they just, yeah, pretend that they do have Hungarian passports. But after 10 years, when you need to get another one, that's a tricky one. Then you need to go to the consulate or the embassy, and yeah, I
Yeah,
guess in 10
basically get it
years
renewed.
you can learn at least another 20 phrases.
Yeah.
Insane. So again, sorry for asking. How was your upbringing? Like learning two languages at the same time, or just mostly Serbian?
Well, I mean, because I lived, in the U.S. and in Serbia. So what we did was, so the Hungarian from my mom's side basically perished because my grandfather he knew it, he didn't teach it to my mom, so she never knew it,
Oh,
and she couldn't teach it to me.
oh.
So while we were living in America, basically at home we would speak Serbian outside, of course, English, school and whatnot. But when we moved to Serbia, we would speak English at home and Serbian out in public. So that way we would retain the languages. So yeah,
Oh, interesting. That's a good approach. And your name is actually Janos or Janko? It's officially
Janos,
Janos.
Janos.
Ah, so at least it's visual of your background.
Yeah,
It's nice. I really like those stories of people mixed, but they try to keep up the both cultures and be neutral and respectful of both cultures. That's really nice.
yeah.
Um, and now you're being in Romania, right before you're mixed Hungarian, Serbian, living in
Hmm.
US, everything, and now you're studying or working in Romania.
Well, I mean, technically, I am still studying because I haven't finished university yet. So yeah, I have 2 exams left, but I basically did my whole education in Belgrade, my higher
Mm,
education, that is. And right now, I'm basically living in Romania and working on my YouTube channel full time. So
that's good. you did a really good thing to like have a smooth transition to your YouTube channel. Is it really good to do like be a content creator in Romania? Like you have some tax benefits comparing to Serbia, or you just have the time now there to make it?
So basically, the taxes, as far as they go between Serbia and Romania, they're pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
They're both at around 40%, so you don't really get those really tax write-offs and whatnot. What helps me out is that I have U.S. citizenship. So because the U.S. has a bunch of tax treaties with a bunch of different countries,
Mm-hmm.
I am taxed as a U.S. citizen. And also, as a U.S. citizen, you are required to pay tax to the U.S. no matter where you are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's kind of the random name. Well, the RNG is kind of like saving my ass from paying most of my income.
Oh, nice. And the income is lower in US than the income tax is lower in US than here, right?
Yeah, much so. I mean, the main issue is so as someone who is a Balkan trader and is situated in the Balkans and talks about the Balkans and has a mainly Balkan audience, just Balkan. Um,
That's what we're
the
here.
problem with that is YouTube and a lot of other social media and generally platforms pay much less to Balkan creators and with people with Balkan audiences than if they have a Western audience.
Mm,
So, with some of my other YouTube colleagues, they, for example, earn on average €3 for 1,000 views. I earn €1 per 1,000 views, so 3 times as less.
mm,
Just because of that fact, because advertisers pay much less for these types of audiences. So and when you kind of count into that of having like this lower income, like my income isn't um, that bad for the Balkans, but it is basically below the poverty line if we're talking about U.S. standards.
mm.
So if I were to like pay 40% here, that would be basically extremely crippling.
Yeah,
So I'm quite lucky in that matter where I kind of get to have my own cake and eat it too.
yeah, understandable. Talking about the audience, it was also one of my questions as
Mhm.
who is your audience in general. But before that, can you tell us a bit more about your channel for our audience that don't know? We're gonna share the link about your channel and why we love it. They're gonna experience by themselves, of course. Can you tell us what are you doing and what you're trying to do?
Of course. So basically, my channel is living ironically in Europe. The entire channel used to be basically making cynical travel guides, educational, but basically edutainment content, spinning the genre of travel vlogs, actually teaching you about the place, the history of it, but also throwing a lot of edgy jokes centered about the Balkans. It evolved into making more educational content about the history and whatnot in a similar manner, and also going into geopolitics at times as well.
Mm,
But yeah, regarding my audience, most of it surprisingly comes from Romania, believe it or not. And
okay.
then we have Serbia, Hungary, and then we have the US, Germany, UK, and the others. But yeah.
You think about Romania? It's because of IP address currently and
No,
the
no, no.
algorithm.
So
No.
while I was living in Serbia and making these videos, even then, the majority of my audience actually came from Romania.
Oh.
Which is kind of funny. I mean, I don't know why, but that's just a situation. So often enough, whenever I go outside, I get recognized on the street because of that, more so than in any other country.
Oh, really? And then you're like, I'm moving to Romania. That's my dreamland.
Yeah,
Only country that Serbia never fought a war with. So
basically, yeah.
it's a chance. Yeah. I see. You mentioned about making edgy jokes, so to say.
Hmm.
Do you have any issues with YouTube? Are you being the demonetized because of it, or is it still
Uh,
okay?
So in the past, I used to be. I have optimized my content to kind of avoid that, knowing when not to cross the line. Because the problem is, so YouTube has this particularly Western-oriented system
Mm,
regarding, what's okay to say, what's not okay to say, blah 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 blah. And I mean, as you should know, in the Balkans, that's really not the case. Like the Western sensitivities aren't really applied here. So, what's okay to say here is definitely not okay to say in America. So I have to kind of tone it down or use dog whistles. So my Balkan audience is going to know, oh, I mean this. While, someone who's from the West doesn't have that cultural knowledge, it's just going to fly over their head, especially the censors.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do occasionally get some shit from YouTube. Like recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, my video on why Bosnia and Turkey love each other got taken down by YouTube for hate speech, which I just kind of find baffling because it was one of my more positive videos. And it was quite tame, and a lot of people are like, what the fuck? It was such a tame video compared to your other work. And yeah, I know. But I tried to get in contact with the YouTube support team and with the reviewers, and they would just tell me, "Oh, the video basically, does hate speech." And I asked them, "Can you at least tell me the timestamp that is problematic?" And they can't really give me that. So, I have no idea what's the problem in it, but it is what it is.
So
Wow.
you cannot re-upload it again.
I mean, technically, I could if I censored it, edited, but the problem is I don't know what to edit in it because, you know, if I knew the problem, I wouldn't have an issue. So if people want to check it out, you can find that video on Rumble, Odyssey. All of my YouTube stuff gets uploaded over there as well. So,
You can share the link, yeah, for audience to check it out. Interesting because like I'm following one channel. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called Plain and Simple World War II. It's about channel. Do you know about it? Every week they
I've
have
heard of it, I
episode.
believe.
Yeah, every week they have an episode about actual week in the World War II. So World War II lasted for 6 years, and it started like 4 years ago, on our 1944, August 1944, as we are filming this. And every week you can follow the actual things that are going on. And sometimes they put the episode up, and it's educational, and they want to see that how Holocaust was bad in parallel. And sometimes they get censored, and the video is down. Then they upload it again, and they say right now it's censored, but it's up again. So I'm guessing they tell them what was wrong, or they presume what was wrong, and they try it again.
So it works in several ways. So for some videos, the YouTube has implemented the system. It's quite trashy, doesn't work all the time, but on some occasions they do give you like a timestamp of what got the video into problem, be it age restriction or whatnot.
Okay.
So when that happens, then it's like, yeah, whatever. Then you know what to edit out, what to blur, censor, whatnot. Another way, what you also can do is so what a lot of content creators and I do is sometimes when that doesn't happen is you cut the video into smaller segments, like basically a minute from each, upload them independently as unlisted, and then see what part is problematic. So then okay, this part got demonetized, so I know to look here. But yeah, YouTube really doesn't help you at all that much to find what's the issue. So
That's really not smart approach. Just say, it's bad, take it off, and how to can improve it? I don't know.
yeah,
Your homework.
I mean, I kind of want to try and understand it, but at the same time, I can't. Like, I can get that if they were more transparent, some people would try and abuse the system. But still, it's kind of like those people are in the minority, and you have these creators who depend on their income from YouTube, and you sanction them, and you don't tell them why you sanction them, and even though they want to follow the rules, so it's just kind of baffling to me.
It's not fair. Can we take one step back and tell? Can you tell us and our audience how did you come up with the idea and with the name itself?
Yeah, so basically, the entire idea for the channel started up in 2018 when I was graduating high school. So I wasn't really a big fan of living in the US. Like, you know, nothing, I mean, there is some things wrong with it, some things that are great. Just not my cup of tea. I didn't really like it.
Which state you were in?
I was living in Wisconsin.
Oh.
So Midwest, not the best regarding the weather, and definitely not the best if you're looking for walkable cities. So not my favorite. Regarding the U.S., if you want to make money, it's great. I know a bunch of my peers who go there and work and travel, or basically immigrate for a job. They like it, then gather some money, go back, reinvest it, whatnot. But
Yeah.
I just didn't like the lifestyle. I didn't really like the people that much. Just the mindset. So I was planning to
Fair.
basically go back to Europe, Serbia, and I don't know, start doing YouTube, like start travel vlogs. So one thing that I used to follow this page on Facebook called Living in Asia, ironically, which was of this guy who moved to Thailand and was basically just shit posting about Thailand. So I was like, I like that. I'm gonna modify it a bit, and there we go, living in Europe, ironically, or living ironically in Europe. So yeah,
Nice.
that's how it came to be. But yeah, so I moved literally the day after I graduated. I had my plane ticket booked to, go back to Serbia. I went to London, then I went to Timisoara, and then I, got into Serbia that way. So yeah, I mean, when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. So I do have some early vlogs that will not see the light of day because how bad they were. Um, but since then, I kind of had my heart broken. So then I was like, oh damn, I'm gonna go back to the U.S. I'm gonna go into the military because I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. Like any fresh 18-year-old is. So then I talked with my mom and some friends, and I was like weighing whether or not to go to the military or go to university. And people persuaded me to ditch the military. Don't support the military industrial complex. Just go study something. So I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll go study economics and finance. If everything goes to shit, that'll at least be stable if there isn't a major world recession. So yeah, while I was there, I started doing a bunch of Erasmus programs. For those of you that don't know about Erasmus, it is a EU-funded program where they take a bunch of university students, even high school students, anyone who's over 18, up until the age of like 30, 35-ish. And they pay for them to go to basically trips around Europe, even outside of Europe, to listen to seminars that range for like 7 to 10 days. 14. You also have like longer programs, but I would go into these like short seminars where you have to listen to a speaker for 5 hours a day, and then the rest of the day you hang out with people from all these different countries. The organizers take you to excursions, again all paid by the EU, and in the evening you get drunk and throw up the next morning.
Naturally.
So it was quite great.
We also did one semester in Lithuania with tuition. That's where we
That's
met
how we
actually.
met.
Oh really?
Yeah. Erasmus connecting people.
Yeah, so how'd you like it over there?
Lithuania. Without Erasmus people, I would never go there.
Understandable.
Ironically, I was there again for a couple of months
Uh,
working there. But again, I had the connections with ESN, so Organization of Erasmus. So I hooked up on them and I met another generation there. So I was working all day and going drinking, partying, and going in the morning back and working again.
oh man.
Much more exhausting than before, but yeah, manageable.
Yeah, it absolutely
Yeah.
sounds like it.
On my side, I don't remember much. I was mostly drunk.
Yeah, that's how Erasmus goes, doesn't it?
People were asking Onat, so Onat, how is your Russian class going? I'm going to Russian classes? What? Something
Yeah,
like that.
because I was also taking multiple classes like with different languages, so it was very confusing.
Yeah,
And he's IT engineer, so he was just taking everything what was there.
yeah, just whatever you can, huh?
Yeah, so that is insane. So you went on those short ones. That's like Erasmus Mobility, right?
I think it's just literally Erasmus plus, like I don't know what's the official name, but it was just like those short ones because the problem with my university was I was trying my hardest to graduate on time. So for the first 3 years, I was giving all my exams in time, finishing it up. But whenever I would do, an Erasmus, even for like a week, I would be set up so far, behind that I would need to then, put a bunch more effort just to be caught up where my peers were.
Oof, yeah.
So I could only afford to do, the short ones, never the long ones.
Sorry, were you faculty of economics, University of Belgrade?
No. I went to a private university. The problem is, so I would have gone to a public university in Serbia. The problem is because I finished my education in the U.S. The U.S. education system, especially high schools, are quite far behind regarding, the European ones, Serbian in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Like while we
Would have known.
were still in I think second year of high school, we were learning the Pythagoras theorem in the second year of high school, while in Serbia you already started, what is it, calculus, like far before that.
When you're
So,
fifth grade and
so
12 years old, yeah.
yeah, so even if I wanted to, but I just couldn't pass the preliminary exam because I was so far behind without spending several years, catching up regarding math and whatnot, which would be on the exam. So my only option was basically, private school or no school, go to the military. So, yeah.
I see. I know in the US they go to a military to get a scholarship in order to study.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
like,
basically, I don't come from money. In the US, I could not afford, going to university over there without
Hmm.
going severely into in debt, and I don't really feel like doing that.
mm,
So, regarding military options, like the US military gives a lot of decent benefits. Not sponsored. This was just basically, my thought process at the time, just
no,
before
it's
anyone
right.
calls me, a NATO shill or whatnot. But the thing is, like, because I came from a lower standing economic background in the U.S., you don't really have a lot of options regarding decent and stable careers if you don't have some higher education or whatnot. So
Mm,
for me at the time, with a mom who was basically working two jobs, single mom, it was either go into like retail or fast food, which I did work throughout high school, or go to the military or do something more affordable in the Balkans, and that was the route I chose.
mm,
Because even private school in Serbia is way cheaper than what are the prices in the U.S. and even in Europe.
mm.
So
No, I can imagine. And your family is in Serbia right now, or the?
no, well, some. The thing is, my family is kind of split between the U.S. and Serbia.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um,
And you in Romania,
huh?
and you in Romania.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, the thing is, so a lot of my family actually escaped. Well, didn't escape, but kind of fled during World War II. Because some of my ancestors were involved in some not so great parties that were afraid to get persecuted after the communists won.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at
right
that.
leaning parties.
Yeah, so a lot also went to Australia, as you do, and a lot went to Chicago, as you do.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, that's basically the story of that and how that diaspora came to be.
Yeah, for audience that don't know, just not say anything. Just do your research because it's also like possibly demonetizing thing to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
here. But yeah, you do the logic here.
It's
Um,
it's like, why are there Germans in Argentina? Wink,
eh,
wink.
precisely. Yeah, wink, wink. Yeah. Why is your grandfather speaking German and having those weird mustaches? Oh, I don't know.
Basically.
Exactly. Is your family supportive of what you do right now?
Yeah, my close family is. Some of my broader family isn't. I mean, the ones that aren't, they're kind of, old school boomers who think
Mm,
like, this is a waste of time and money. You got a degree, you should go into banking, which you finished. Make some real money, whatnot. But for the majority, they support me, and a lot of my family actually watches my channel as well.
mm. Don't go into banking. Don't
Yeah,
like
I mean,
continue what you're doing. You're young. Yeah.
like what are my options? Military banking. I mean, great options to have.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, get some mortgage and pay monthly and be miserable.
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah. No, continue
but
what you're doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm happy with it. It's not making as much money as I would like it to be, but I'm able to live quite comfortably in Cluj, and that's what matters. So.
hmm.
Hmm.
Are you learning Romanian while you're there?
Yes, I am because I work and because I'm also doing Hungarian and also my university. I don't give it as much time as I should, but I still am learning it slowly but surely. Yeah.
Is it hard?
Um, in a way, yeah. So basically, Romanian, as it works, is the grammar is simple. The problem is like if you've ever learned a Romance language, Germanic language, it's quite simple, very similar, not a whole lot of problems. The problem is it's illogical. It gives you like a set of rules, but then in 50 to 60% of the cases, it doesn't use them at all, and it's just irregular. And it does this not just for verbs, but every single thing that you can. And if you know in German how you have the articles,
Mm.
die, der, das, and then if you do it, change it into cases, then you have der, which can also be, masculine nominative, and there can also be feminine dative,
Yes.
and you don't really know, and there isn't really logic. So Romanian also does that a whole lot with it, where you don't really know the gender of it because it's illogical and you just have to memorize it.
Mm.
That's the main problem. So it's basically just memorize, memorize, memorize. Yeah.
I see. But I guess it's easier than Hungarian.
I mean,
For you
the
because
whole
you
thing
know
is
it
like,
already. Yeah.
huh? Well, yeah, but with Hungarian is like I also started learning it from scratch. Hungarian is just basically the opposite. There is a shit ton of things with the grammar and whatnot, but they're very logical, and it's kind of like doing math. Like a programming language.
Mm.
Everything serves its reason, and you kind of understand. Aha, this is why I do it. You just have to learn a shit ton of rules and how those rules interact with each other. But it's like 95% of the time it's always going to be the same. You just have to calculate what's the outcome.
For me, it's like the same for German language. Okay, it has die, der, das, and you need to memorize which subject, or no, how you say it, noun. Yeah, noun is
Mhm.
which gender, but besides that, it's also math. Sometimes that's so logically when make the sentence and where you need to put which word when you compare
Mhm.
it to English. But then if you didn't know English before and you start learning English, then you see also some things are not logical.
Yeah,
So it's depending from which perspective you look at it. So
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it is what it is. You basically just have to rewire your brain to accept, that new language and go from
yeah.
there.
For instance, there's like a Caucasian, so white guy that was brought up in China all his life. So his parents moved in during the communist revolution, or because they were pro-communist during the
Mhm.
Cultural Revolution. It didn't get killed, surprisingly, and he grew up there learning only Mandarin. And when he started learning English only when he was 30 and plus, and it was weird because you hear him speaking with Chinese accent. A white guy going to US speaking English with Chinese accent. It's insane. Yeah. So
I imagine a lot of people didn't take that kindly to that.
not at all. Not at all. No, no, no. You're correct. Regarding your channel, how do you come up with ideas? It's always surprising for me. Like,
So it used to be a bit challenging coming up with them because it's kind of like shooting in the dark. But as I make more videos, you kind of see what does well. So you kind of look at what topics are sort of similar regarding a video you previously made.
mm,
And I thankfully I don't work alone. I used to, but right now I also work with my girlfriend who helps me as a ghostwriter in a lot of cases. So we together
mhm,
basically discuss what topics would be good, what ideas would go, and we both kind of work on it together, which
mm.
really actually helps a lot. When it's not just you thinking, you actually get some feedback from another person who's sort of in a similar um, I guess, position as you. So
Yeah, and you do
So
it.
when you plan a video, are you scripting all the video, or are you
yes.
doing some sort of
So
like?
most of my videos, well, not most, but I would say all are detailed. Well, uh, is that how I can say it? Well, they're extremely, well, not extremely, but they're quite researched. So
Mm-hmm.
we take on average between 3 to 7 days to research a topic and write a script.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so all the videos are basically, based on articles, books, whatnot, and yeah, we make them, and then from there I read out a script. So you're actually like getting nothing that's shooting in the dark. It's not improv. It's basically structured. So yeah,
The topic itself probably is a shoot in the dark. Okay, we found this topic, and then
yeah.
you take it and you expand the,
I
the,
mean, a
the
lot of
idea.
times, when I would think a certain topic would do well, because in the past it completely fails. So even when we base it, it's still a shoot in the dark. You never know what's going to rise up, what's not. For
Mm.
example, like the Portugal video, when I originally uploaded it, it did extremely poorly. It was like one of my worst performing videos. But then all of a sudden, it just shot up, just out of nowhere, and became one of my, I think, top 15 videos. Just
Okay.
yeah. So it's always just you know it happens. Yeah.
When did it became so popular? At what period? I can tell you because things going on in the world can impact what's going on some.
Yeah. The thing was, nothing was really going on with Portugal at the time. It like the video was uploaded, I think, in October, November 2022 or
Mhm.
something like that. And then all of a sudden, past like 2 3 weeks, it just shot up.
Mm.
Portugal. There was no election. There was nothing really going on in Portugal. Not even tourist season. It's November. Who's going to Portugal then? So
Yeah.
it was just random, and that happens with a lot of videos as well. Like either they'll be amazing at first, then fail, or they'll be shit and then suddenly just rise up, or they'll just plateau regarding whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, we never know. On it, I'm also watching some content creators on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, wherever, and you see there are videos with not so many views, and suddenly millions of views on some random video, and
Mhm.
then who knows? And when you compare it with previous ones, some previous ones were better, but algorithm on some group started sharing it, and then it just spread out like a
Yeah, yeah,
wildfire.
that's how it picks up. I mean, it's still quite unknown. Even the staff at YouTube, well, like the whole algorithm is quite, I would say, secretly well kept. Like not even the employees know how it
Mm-hmm.
functions completely. So no one can really tell you, oh, this is what you got to do. What's going to work? It's in a lot of ways just a mystery.
I understand. And the episode about Portugal, it was the episode where I visited Portugal, so you don't have to,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's the
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. I'm guessing maybe it can be Germans watching it because they prepare when to travel somewhere like far behind, so like 6, 7 months or more. So maybe they
Yeah,
watched it. Okay, I'm gonna go there next year, or maybe not, depending on your video. So,
yeah. Could be. I mean,
so you
yeah.
should check the statistics. I'm really curious if they were or not Germans.
No, well, the majority was actually from Portugal. So
Okay. Then I'm
yeah,
guessing somebody shared like, look, this guy sharing about we should not go to Portugal and check it out. Oh, actually, it's ironical.
yeah,
You should go. That's the point of the
yeah.
video.
Basically,
Yeah, yeah.
it happens.
That's yeah goes hand in hand with your name, living ironically in Europe.
Yeah.
Exactly. What about the haters? Do you have quite a lot of them?
um, on average, no. I mean, I do get hate comments here and there, and I do get like some fun people that hit up my Instagram DMs and call me a traitor and tell me to commit fun acts with myself, either rope or something else.
Our audience imagine. We don't need to put
Yeah, I mean, right now I uploaded a video about the bricks, and that definitely ruffled some feathers. So now I'm getting, quite a bit more hate than, well, not quite a bit more, extremely more hate than I usually do, which was quite surprising to me. But yeah, I mean, hater-wise, usually the typical ones are ex-nationalist from X country,
Mm.
and I'll state things in a video, research it based on as much as I can on a neutral perspective, even though I know sometimes my biases slip through. um, and that's why I also like having my girlfriend help me with writing because she isn't involved in Serbia whatsoever. She has, completely, she's, Romanian,
Mm.
has her own perspective. So it kind of balances it out, especially when writing anything about Kosovo or Albania. I let
Mm.
her take the ball there in a lot of cases.
Take out
Um,
the bias from me, please. Take this
yeah,
off.
basically, it's kind of like, listen, if I start writing, people are gonna claim I'm biased. Here, you do that, I'll do this, and we can, have opposing perspectives in the same videos. So,
Mm.
it'll be good.
That's a smart
But
approach. I like it.
going back to it, yeah, a lot of people that do startup hate are basically like these nationalists who are like, no, 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 you're wrong. My country actually founded this. We never did this. We were wrong. Then, well, you're spreading propaganda, propaganda. That's usually the word, just propaganda. It's like, whatever. I just find them using it a lot of times.
It is. It is. We tend to make fun of those right. Actually, both wings, left or right, they both can be radical. All the
Yeah.
radical people, we like to make fun of them. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
very true.
I don't know. It's kind of weird, and you know, I do get it. When I was younger, I used to be a nationalist as well, and I do have a lot of people. Well, know a lot of people who were or are nationalists,
Mm.
and the entire thing I think is that kind of opened my mind was.
Erasmus.
In a bunch of different countries, the people think the same way. The same viewpoints you have, they have it
Mm.
over there. Oh, we were the first in the Balkans.
Yeah.
Oh, our nation was wrong. You are the aggressor. And it's just like exchange X for Y. And, you know, I don't know. It's just kind of stupid to look at it like that without any form of nuance and just think like, oh, your country never did anything wrong, or your country was always, correct, or your country was always the one wronged. Instead, every no country is without sins. Every country has its plus and minuses, and every country has its like dark and bright sides of history. So
Mm.
it's quite counterproductive to just view the world in that hyper focused lens of, oh, we was kings and shit.
Exactly.
So
No, you're totally correct. I was similar like you when I was young. I guess because the surrounding we are living, I cannot
mhm.
say for all the people like in other Balkan countries, but at least in Serbia, they were really hyped. I was lucky enough that my family was not like that. They were really
Mhm.
neutral in any sense possible, not nationalistic. My mother is a Yugoslav by her saying,
Oh,
and
really?
they're both Serbian, and my father is just from Vranje. He's not
Mhm.
even by nationality Serbian or Orthodox by religion.
Mhm.
He just I'm from Vranje, and that's it. He's from it's a city in south of Serbia. That's it. So I was never like taught to be a Serbian. I was just by seeing my surrounding. I was like, I'm guessing I'm Serbian. So I was never like forced, and I was never in mixed ethnicity community, and that's one of the reasons I guess it was not the thing to know. And later on, I just realized by reading the things in what's happening in the world and seeing similarities, going to Erasmus, traveling, working abroad, different countries, and then just seeing people and just saying, as you said, this, all of them are saying the same narrative, but from with different colors and different names. But
Mhm.
it's all in the end the same. We are the better. We are the ones that did this, and it's just it's ironic, and it's
It
something
is.
that they like make fun of a lot.
I
So
mean, that's in particular why I like Two Balkans for You, the subreddit, now renamed to Balkans IRL, where basically it's a bunch of people who make fun of themselves and these nationalists in making just absurdist content as they can.
mm,
And that definitely inspires my content, for example.
yeah, same with us because Onat and I are like into comedy and stuff, writing sketches and so on, and
Mm,
we were like also like really inspired by those people. And I'm really curious about people that are really intelligent. You know, have
mm,
higher education, they learn the things, they were abroad, and they're yet still being really hardcore nationalistic or hardcore left wing, whatever.
yeah.
Changing the narratives of the stories, and like, man, every morning when they wake up, they need to do gymnastics in their heads to
Mm,
see all the clues that are showing that you're wrong and still get over them and say no, it's still this fairy tale land of, for instance, for Serbia, like Kosovo is amazing land, it's still Serbian, blah blah blah.
yeah.
And like the level of, you know, multiple times when we talk and somebody's
Mm,
presenting reality, they're like and they, I see in their heads they are accepting it, but like 5 minutes later, like no 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 no, they come up with some idea, some other conspiracy, some other thing to just debunk whatever you said, although it has nothing to do, it's full bullshit. But I'm like, and I just gave up. I'm like, okay, let them be whatever they want to be, let them live in fairy tale in Disneyland. So it's their
No,
lives.
of course. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the main problems, like especially when I was living in the diaspora, well, the Serbian diaspora in America, like you said, you see like these people who are educated, who have been, to different countries, live abroad, and then they start spewing these extremely, I don't want to say like extremist nationalist things, but they definitely
Unrealistic. You can say unrealistic.
unrealistic in a way,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one thing that I kind of realized is in America, or I guess for any country, when you move somewhere, you're still, seen as other in a way. Now, I don't mean this as like completely bad, but you are never going to be German when you go to Germany. You're never going to be
Sure.
American where you go to America. As much as they, try and say, "Oh, immigrants, immigrate," blah blah blah. You still kind of get excluded from this whole group, no matter how much people try and presenting like, "Oh no, you don't," and no matter how much people try and integrate people. And because of that, because you're kind of seen as excluded,
Mm.
and you miss being from home, I think a lot of people start to become extremely proud and put this huge nationalist, like, "Oh, I'm this, I'm proud to be this," as sort of not really cope, but as a way of not losing their identity because they've kind of left their friends, family, homes, and went to another place that's quite foreign and can be sometimes hostile to them. So,
You're completely right. They kind of grasp and hold it really tight and say, "This is my identity. I'm gonna hold to it because here I cannot find it. I'm not being accepted." And they're romanticizing. And once they come back and they see how things are going, like, maybe it was not so as I imagined. And like, especially in the region, it's a different story. You said you're in far away. You're like in Germany, in US. You're far, far away, so it's easier to romanticize. But the people that are in the Balkans, that are mixed regions still, they tend to be more right-wing and more nationalistic outside of their motherland, like
yeah,
Croatians in Bosnia, then in Croatia, Serbians outside of Serbia. Like, they're insanely more right-wing than the ones in their mother countries. I guess because you're in your natural surrounding, but when you're in a mixed surrounding, you need to prove yourself that you're different, that you're better.
I don't know. I think a lot of it, when it comes to the Balkans themselves, it's there's a lot of countries that definitely don't have their shit together. Where that's happening, like Bosnia, particularly Kosovo.
Also, yeah.
Well, fuck, I know I'm gonna get shit for saying country, Kosovo, whatever. If you want to
We're
say,
gonna put
it's a
the
country, it's a
hyphen in the
hyphen,
app.
hyphen,
Yeah,
whatever.
imagine the hyphen.
Schrodinger's country. It is and it isn't at the same time. Um,
Schrodinger's country.
Basically,
Schrodinger's cat.
no.
Yeah.
But with these places where you have sort of, I don't know. I think in the Balkans the main thing is like people want to have an ethno state. Now I'm not talking like from a
Mm.
right wing perspective, but that is sort of like they want to have their own country because they're proud, ruled by their own people, by their own region,
Mm.
whatnot. And when you're kind of put in this situation where no one really has the power and everyone wants to be great, whatnot, I guess that kind of drives extremism in a way.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't know, at least that's how I see it.
No, I see your perspective. It's yeah, it has a sense of how they behave, why they behave like that. Yeah, we don't want to be subjugated to foreign, so to say, people and being stolen from us from foreign. We want to be stolen and subjugated by our
Yeah,
own people. Yeah,
basically.
because even though if your politician on top is not your ethnicity, even if it was, you still have like a shitty time, no matter what. They're still gonna steal from you and really gonna have bad
Yeah,
time. But at least it feels most natural, I guess, when it's yours
yeah.
and
I
not the
mean, I'm
other
not
ones.
saying I agree with it. I'm not saying I disagree with it. It
Yeah,
is just what it is. How I see it.
exactly. I agree. I agree on your neutral point of view, so to
Yeah,
say.
centrist. But yeah.
Yeah, centrist. Yeah. About your episodes, once more, I find it fascinating how you combine the American pop culture and anime and whatnot
Mhm.
in your episodes. What's your inspiration to? I guess you like anime and American pop culture, or what?
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I used to watch a bunch of anime. I stopped a while ago, but I still like the aesthetics, and
Mm,
I think I don't know, just I like the aesthetics and I kept it because I thought it kind of distinguishes you from the crowd, especially when you're trying to build a YouTube brand in a genre that doesn't have that.
mm,
Like when you look at travel vloggers, for example, a lot of them are either like couples or these very happy-go-lucky people who kind of show around, where they ate. They show a building and say nothing about it. But then you forget about them. You don't even remember their names. You don't remember their faces. You don't remember anything about their video. It's just a generic travel video. But
Mm.
when you see an anime girl with a man's voice talking to you about, you know, how the Turks got impaled in Wallachia, you're like, I haven't seen this before. This is quite the spectacle. I'm a click subscribe.
Yeah, that's
So
a good
it's
point.
kind of like a mind trick. Why that? I get a lot of questions still. They ask me, "Oh, why do you have a girl as your avatar?" And the whole thing is, people click on anime girls. That's why I have that there. So
They're
yeah,
like, oh, there's hentai on YouTube.
yeah. Basically, it's I don't know. Also, I have to sit and edit hours and hours, and I would much rather look at a pretty girl than a grown man.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, correct. I mean, depending on your gender of your audience, but I know when there's like content creator, like short clips, whatever, you can see the person of doing
Mm,
something, and when it's a smart girl doing something, it's much more fun. I mean, not being stereotypical, but you don't see that often, and you're like, oh,
yeah,
this one is quite unusual. She's funny. I know some guys that are much more funny, but this thing is unusual. You don't see this often, and you can see it works perfect for
yeah.
her. She has much more
No,
views and stuff.
for the longest of times, like when I was just starting off with my channel, I actually had this idea to, get a voice changer software just to have a completely female voice on
Mm,
there, just so it would garner more clicks because you don't really see, particularly women who make sort of these Balkan or edgy jokes. And if you see that, then it's kind of grabs the attention because it's different. So, I mean, it
correct.
is a bit shitty to say, but it does come from sort of a business point perspective. But hey, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Hey, one girl is doing amazing work. She's from the US and she's mimicking the typical two Caucasian white guys doing a podcast,
Uh huh.
macho podcast about, yeah, man, dude, I read about menstrual cycles, whatever. And they're commenting lots of those stuff that are not concerning them. And she's making fun of them. Like she's sounding like a guy or like rich white person. And
God
she's
bless.
getting a lot of clicks. Yeah, God bless her. Yeah, she found like a really good topic to make fun of. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
basically that's Onat and me, but we're trying not to be so typical to white guys commenting stuff. And since we're going from the US, from the Balkans, it's you cannot find any other guys like that from the
yeah,
Balkans.
yeah. I mean, the whole thing is with the Balkans in particular, it's an untapped market, I would say.
Mm, true.
Because I've noticed that, like, originally I want to target Serbians with my channel, but Serbians mostly watch things in Serbian, and
Mm,
if you make content in English, you're not going to get a whole lot of viewers from there. Like, of course, you're still going to get some, but a lot of people just prefer to have it in their own language.
mm,
So now that I guess the world is becoming much more globalized and the Balkans are, coming a part of this, the Balkans are becoming a much more, untapped market where people haven't really told the stories from the Balkans, be it from any other countries or hyphenated countries. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. They're starting more and more to be involved. Some of them still approach me and say, "Why don't you not do it in Serbian?" It's like, first of all, Ona doesn't speak Serbian. Second of all, we are doing the Balkans, and most of Balkans they tend to not to speak only Serbo-Croatian; they speak other languages. And plus, we also target audience outside of the Balkans to learn about the Balkan people. So it
Yeah.
makes sense in English. We're not doing Mandarin. Okay, it's the most used one, but still English is the national one. That's why we're using it. But the kids from the Serbia, they're making fun of me, at least my neighbor. Hey,
Mm.
you're doing it in English, but I still hear your accent. I was like, F you. And he's like 10. And
Yeah.
like, then you do one day podcast about Balkan politics, culture, music, whatever. And then we
Yeah.
can discuss about it. But at least you're watching that. I was happy that he's watching and not getting anything in 1 hour, but still,
Yeah,
he's
no, I
10.
mean, yeah, in Serbia, they also have this weird thing about being so focused on if you have an accent or not. Like, I know, when people would hear me speaking English, they're like, "Oh, you have an accent." I'm like, "Okay, so yes,
Yeah.
and like,
They cannot point out anything else. Like, here's a
yeah, I
content, he's
mean,
good. Let's find some flaw. I don't see it. I don't hear accent, and there it is. It's enough for me. I'm satisfied. My
yeah.
ego, I'm better than him. Maybe I'm not, but still, I saw he has a flaw. He has a flaw.
I mean, the majority of people, when they speak a different language, they have an accent. It's normal, and it's something that, if anything, adds character. And I know a lot of people from America, especially, like hearing a different accent. So
Really?
it's not a mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey,
That's
listen. When I was living in America, one of my biggest features in the dating world was having an accent.
oh, so you're a foreigner. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It does
Exotic
distinguish
one.
you.
exotic.
I'm just saying, people love accents.
Yeah, I mean it's the opposite. So in the US, they like when you're sounding like a foreigner, but then you come to Europe and you want to do something in English, and you're from Europe, and it's like you're not so like typical American YouTuber. We can hear
Hmm.
that you are not. So it's works in one way, another way doesn't work. So it's you cannot convince
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah, and
I
make
don't
everyone
know.
happy.
It's like, if you care about accents, then shit, dude. It's a you problem. Like,
Yeah, and
what
the
else can I
point
say?
the point here is the content, and you're doing a really good content, and
Yeah, yeah.
we really like it. And Anna, do you
Thank
have
you, thank you.
any questions?
Actually, I want to ask about the episodes of you. Which one was the most popular one? Which one was the most
So yeah, so my most viewed video is why you shouldn't learn Hungarian. Right now, it's around 900,000 views. Um,
well,
that again just blew up out of nowhere and has like periods in a year where it gets a bunch of views and then it slows down. Then again, bunch of views, just random ticks. The
Okay.
second most, I think, is Bosnia,
Oh,
which was one of my earlier videos, and that also just exploded. That
okay.
was the first video that exploded, I think, and that got me so popular. Yeah, that was, I think, on summer 2021 is when Bosnia got huge. Right now it's at like some 800 something thousand. But yeah, I mean, with the Hungarian one, it was a video where I was just kind of voicing my frustrations regarding, learning the language with some of the grammar that is just so needlessly complicated. The Bosnia one, I went with my friends to Sarajevo. We had a good time and, just recorded shit. So yeah, it was fun.
Do you get a lot of friends while you do these videos that they reach you out? Hey, we want to collaborate with you, we want to help you or support you, give you idea for the episode.
Actually, no, not a whole lot at all.
Mm.
So, like, of course, there's some here and there, but I think I can count them all on my, hand. The instances that happened. Usually, people are just fans. They like the work. They don't really give some huge suggestions. They'll say like, "Oh, come to this country" or something in the comments, but nothing really like that.
mhm.
Mm.
And even the collabs that happened, they happen naturally. Like the two people that I recently collabed with was Roman Nafuckers and Gatsu. Both of them I met first in Georgia when I went there.
Hmm.
We hung out, became friends, and from then on, it's like, oh, you do YouTube, I do YouTube. Let's make videos, because we're both in the industry and colleagues.
Mm.
And the same with Mao Mao. I mean, it's kind of like internet friends, and then it's like, hey, let's make a video, so
Yeah. But you are still growing. I mean, you started like 2018, but I honestly discovered you last year or something. I saw some
yes.
videos. So I guess last year was your blooming year.
It kind of comes and goes into periods. So
Hmm.
basically, well, technically, I started in 2018. I didn't start uploading regularly until 2020.
Hmm.
I started, I think, even before the pandemic. I think like December 2019 to February, when the whole shit hit the fan, is when I started like making videos proper. Then during the pandemic, I didn't have a lot of time, like a lot. Well, I didn't have. I had a whole lot of free time, and I decided, I'm just gonna make a video every 2 weeks, have
Mm.
something ready, and just started since then. Since the pandemic, made a habit, start doing that. And then in 2021, basically like year and a half since I started, it just suddenly, blew up. And then it was more or less constant growth. So, I mean, I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Kudos. You're doing really
Thank you, thank
great.
you.
Continue with the good work. Onad, something more from your side?
About the collaborations and more about the business side of the YouTube.
Mhm.
You also have the merch store and doing some paid promotions.
Mhm.
Also Patreon. How those are going? I saw a few. Actually, specifically the
Mhm.
one, the Dominator.
Mhm.
It is really, I really like that.
Oh,
Probably I will
awesome.
get one soon. So how is those going?
So, merch wise, I don't earn a lot of money off of that, especially with
Mm-hmm.
members or Patreons. They're there to kind of give something tangible to people who want to support me and have something in return. The thing is, like I said, a lot of my audience is from the Balkans, so
Mm-hmm.
they don't have a whole lot of money to spend on
Yeah.
these types of things, especially with YouTuber merch that unfortunately has a higher markup because cost of production is so expensive, and so is trying to
Mm-hmm.
get any profit. Like on average, I think a month from merch, I'm lucky if I get 100 euros profit
Mm.
because my margins for t-shirts, I think it's like 8 to 16% profit margin. For Dominator, the game is 60 euros,
Mm-hmm.
and with shipping, and I make maybe like 8 euros out of it.
Mm.
So it's not a whole lot. It helps me out and it gives someone something, but most of my money comes from basically YouTube's ads and also from sponsors. And again, sponsors also pay extremely below market rate because Balkan audience and people just don't buy things here,
Mm-hmm.
especially online and those types of goods.
Mm. How did you come up with the idea of the board game, this Dominator?
So Dominator isn't actually my intellectual property. It was actually created. So Dominator is created by this amazing guy from Serbia as well, who started this board game and basically functions off of Instagram. Shout out to him. And one day I just reached out to him and I really liked his product. And I was like, hey man, would you be interested in doing a collaboration? Basically, how Monopoly that has like collaborations with different types of
Mm-hmm.
brands, like Monopoly Barbie, Monopoly
Mm.
Avengers, whatnot. And I was thinking, hey, we can do branded Monopoly, living ironically in Europe. If it's my brand, you get an international audience. We both basically win.
Mm.
So that's how it came to be. So we were basically, going a year and negotiating, intellectual rights, all that, getting money in. We've been collaborating ever since, and it's been going quite well.
Nice, nice. And the game
Yeah.
itself, for the audience to know, it's like something between Monopoly and Risico, right?
Sorta. I mean, it's similar to Risk, but it definitely, changes. It's so with Serbia. I'm gonna go a bit into a law spiel. So with Serbia to have something new and be protected by copyright law and whatnot, especially when it comes to a product, your product needs to be different. 50 to 60, well, over 50%, up to like 60% of an existing product.
Mm.
So, like, it does have some risk attributes, but it is quite different than risk, in
Mm-hmm.
the way it functions, win conditions, things that go on. The only similar thing is, well, basically, it's a board game with a map, and you conquer things, and you have sort of a similar combat system as Risk, but again, even that has a bunch of changes. So.
And it's coming from Serbia. Really,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it also comes from Serbia. So it's a Serbian product. It's made by a Serbian guy. He's
It's about conquering lands, so to say.
yeah,
Yeah,
extremely
really
smart.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
It should
I
have come
mean,
from Turkey.
It's gonna,
Sure.
yeah, correct. More from Turkey.
yeah.
But in this
Hey,
case,
listen,
it will be really popular in Kosovo and in Bosnia and Croatia for sure.
yeah,
I'm really ashamed
No,
of my
kidding.
country
For the
now.
audience, they could turn the tables and conquer anyone else, I guess, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's fun, and I'm really glad that he decided to collaborate with me, and I think he
that's
has a
nice.
great product. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm happy to endorse him and him to endorse me.
right. Unless something more from your side?
I have about the future. So if you have anything else, we can.
I have also about the future. But before this, congratulations on being with Wikitubia.
Oh, thank you,
Honestly,
thank you.
I never knew about this, and for an audience to understand, and my understanding is just Wikipedia, but only for the YouTube content and what's going on YouTube, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. It's just a page about whoever's on there.
Yeah. Did you know about an encyclopedia?
No, what's that?
It's basically made of encyclopedia. So
Oh,
everything
really?
there is made up, and you will love it. It probably can give you some idea about potential content, whatever. It
Oh,
also
hell
gives
yeah,
me
yeah,
some
yeah. Just send it to
ideas.
me in the DMs because I'll
Yeah,
forget
yeah, yeah.
otherwise. But yeah.
As I can not even come with a single example because everything is so wildly exaggerated and made up. That's insane. Yeah, I know United Countries of Kebab, and they're like I don't know some in the Middle East and changing colors and whatever, and Batman is the president, something like that. I forgot. So
Oh, God bless.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah, it's insane. I also had time to find it. I'm gonna share with the audience to check it out. Not that we're sponsoring it; it just exists. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah. Onat, you can ask your question about the future.
So my question is about both the current one and future, like current
Mhm.
channel. While you're scripting your videos, you're making a lot of writing a lot of
Mhm.
jokes. You're creating like new ideas. Are you planning to do that like in a digital way on the stage as a like comedian? Do you consider yourself as a comedian, or you can ask?
I mean, I don't know. I have played with the idea, but right now I do consider myself as a YouTuber. Um, Mainly, whether I'm a comedian, that's up to the audience to decide. Um, I mean, the main issue with that is it is such a different format and
Mm-hmm.
something I don't have a whole lot of experience because what works for YouTube doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the stage because it is just a different format. I might go into it. I don't know. I already have my plate full regarding just these videos, but maybe in the future, nothing is off
Mm.
limits.
Oh.
Uh, One of our guests actually said about this that some people that are really popular on TikTok they try to do stand up and it doesn't work. It's not the same format. It's not the
Yeah,
same thing, and
it's
different
it's like
animal.
when YouTubers go into making a movie or make a TV show. It is just completely different regarding the format, regarding the jokes, regarding the audience that you have, because you acquire a very niche audience. But when you do it differently, there are bigger expectations regarding that, and a different sort of skill set, which you don't necessarily have just because you make YouTube videos. And it's easy to get it to your head when you gain this huge numbers of people that follow you that you suddenly think, oh, I can do whatever. But you gotta
Mm,
keep humble and know you got that number for a thing that you do specifically well. Not it doesn't mean you will do everything well. So
Mm-hmm.
hmm. Okay, got it. Makes sense. And do you have
yeah.
any other business or projects regarding your YouTube that you would like to share, or it's a
So
secret now?
right now, not at the moment.
Mm,
After I finish university, hopefully next week, I am looking to start writing a book, basically a travel book, travel guide,
Mm-hmm.
because I do unironically like those types of books with all the pictures and suggesting like fun facts about the countries and whatnot.
mm,
So I would like to write one about Romania and then just like do the Balkans, create a series. I previously started that project, but because of time constraints, I kind of abandoned it. So it's been just like sitting there waiting,
hmm.
and I do want to pick it up again and eventually have that published and just have another type of interesting merch that you can get. So, yeah.
Amazing. Please
I'm
do.
already curious because I know I got from sense from your videos like it won't be a similar like boring travel book. So probably you have like interesting ideas for the books as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, definitely have a lot of graphics in there. Definitely have a more joking tone and more, interesting. But I still have to, first and foremost, write, that draft and then,
Mm-hmm.
develop it. I do have something in my mind, but it is something I think would be a really interesting success and
Mm.
just something that you could find on like the shelves of your local bookstore.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, when you stick out in some unusual way and it's not offensive, whatever, it's a plus. It's a big plus.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good
But yeah,
luck. We would definitely like to check it out.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and when you do publish and everything, you need a promotion. Here you have us as a platform to promote it. We'd be
I
glad
got
here
you, got
to
you.
have you back here on our show. Yeah. So without further ado, I think that's enough from our side. We just wanted to wish you lots of luck
Thank
in
you.
your upcoming
You as
future.
well.
We usually tend to ask our guests that what are your goals in 5, 10, 15 years, but you're young, you're still finding out all different options for your channel, different business ideas, finishing university. And personally, I don't like those questions when you're like less than 40, less than 50,
Yeah,
because nowadays everything is changing so rapidly. You cannot predict what's going
Yeah.
to happen next year, more and less like in 5, 10. So whatever you do, whatever you come up with, we'll definitely like to follow. uh, we're gonna share the links of all your work here on our description. And please, for
thank
our
you.
audience, whenever you want to check out, please do Living Ironically in Europe with Janos on YouTube. And is it also present on some other platforms?
Mainly on YouTube. The others one are basically backups.
Backups. Okay, okay. Collecting crumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay. So mainly on YouTube. Yeah. Thank you once more, Janos.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining. Thank you accepting for a call after multiple postponements. uh, yeah, thank you. It was really a fun episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here. Thank you.
Until next time, see you all.
See you. Bye bye. Please like,
Bye bye.
subscribe, and put some comments.
Yeah, I forgot all the time. And also follow Janos, not only us. So 2 clicks, at least 2 clicks. Bye bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Uh,